Okay, so I just showed this picture of the boy being thrown out of the classroom window. And let's see. At that point, something strange happened. The playground, which up to then had been filled with shrieks and shouting children at play, all at once became silent as a grave. "Watch out!" Hortensia said, and Matilda and Lavender glanced around and saw the gigantic figure of Miss Trunchbull advancing through the crowds of boys and girls with menacing strides. The children drew back hastily and let her through, and her progress across the asphalt was like that of Moses going through the Red Sea when the waters parted, and the formidable figure she was, too, in her belted smock and green breeches or pants. Below the knee, her calf muscles stood out like grapefruits inside her stockings. "Amanda Thripp!" she was shouting. "You, Amanda Thripp, come here." "Hold your hats," Hortensia whispered. "What's going to happen?" Lavender whispered back. "Well, that idiot Amanda," Hortensia said, "has let her long hair grow even longer during the holidays, and her mother has put 'em into pigtails. Silly thing to do." "Why silly?" Matilda asked. "If there's one thing the Trunchbull can't stand, it is pigtails," Hortensia said. Matilda and Lavender saw the giant in green breeches advancing upon the girl of about 10 who had a pair of golden pigtails hanging over her shoulders. Each pigtail had a blue satin bow at the end of it, and it all looked very pretty. The girl wearing the pigtails, Amanda Thripp, stood quite still, watching the giant come to her, and the expression on her face was one that you might find on the face of a person who is trapped in a small field with an enraged or angry bull charging flat out towards her. So here is the picture of the Trunchbull coming at Amanda Thripp in her bows and her pigtails. The girl was glued to the spot in terror, pop-eyed, quivering. Remember that means shaking? Knowing for certain that the day of judgment has come at last to her. Miss Trunchbull had now reached for Amanda and stood towering over her. "I want those filthy pigtails off before you come back to school tomorrow," she barked. "Chop 'em off and throw 'em in the dustpan. You understand?" Amanda, paralyzed with fright, meaning she couldn't move, managed to sputter, "But my mom likes them. She makes them for me every morning." "Your mommy's a twit," the Trunchbull bellowed. She pointed a finger the size of a salami at the child's head and shouted, "You look like a rat with a tail coming out of its head." "My mummy thinks I look lovely, Miss Trunchbull," Amanda stuttered, shaking like a leaf. "I don't give a tinker's toot what your mummy thinks," the Trunchbull yelled, and with that she lunged forward, grabbed hold of Amanda's pigtails in her right fist, and lifted the girl clean up off the ground. Then she started swinging her around and round her head faster and faster, and Amanda was screaming, and the Trunchbull was yelling, "I'll give you pigtails, you little rat!" Shades of... This is Hortensia. "Shades of the Olympics! She's getting up speed now, just like she does with her hammer. 10-1, she's going to throw her." And now the Trunchbull was leaning back against the weight of the whirling girl, pivoting expertly on her toes, spinning round and round, and soon Amanda Thripp was traveling so fast she became a blur, and suddenly with a mighty grunt the Trunchbull let go of the pigtails and Amanda went sailing like a rocket right over the wire fence of the playground and high up into the sky. We have one more page. Well thrown, sir! Someone shouted from across the playground, and Matilda, who was mesmerized by the whole crazy affair, saw Amanda Thripp descending or falling in a long, graceful parabola on the playing field beyond. She landed on the grass and bounced 3 times and finally came to rest. Then, amazingly, she sat up. She looked a trifle dazed, and who could blame her? But after a minute or so, she was on her feet again and tottering back towards the playground. The Trunchbull stood in the playground, dusting off her hands. Not bad, she said, considering I'm not in the strict training. Not bad at all. Then she walked away. She's mad, Hortensia said. But don't the parents complain? Matilda asked. Would yours? Hortensia asked. I know mine wouldn't. She treats the mothers and fathers just the same as the children, and they're all scared to death of her. I'll be seeing you sometime, you two. And with that, she walked away. So that's the end of chapter 10. Make sure you write down what happened at the beginning, middle, and the end. And you can always go back and listen to things again if you weren't quite sure.